The form lift is what happens when you take the idea of the fitness mirror but improve upon it in pretty much every way imaginable. Both taller and wider than the competition, Form also has the largest and best picture ultra high def 4K touchscreen display, multiple high def cameras to allow for a more nuanced one-on-one coaching with a personal trainer, and it is the first smart mirror to come with upgradable options, one of which is the Form Lift, which converts this fitness mirror into a full-on smart strength studio similar to that of Tonal. So today we're going to go take an in-depth look at everything you need to know about the Form Lift, from how it works and feels, as well as the included attachments and more. And if you appreciate unbiased reviews that get right to the point without wasting your time, then make sure to subscribe to Connect the Watts to stay on top of the latest in fitness tech. Now, first off, it's hard to understate just how nice the wall-mounted Form Lift mirror looks compared to the traditional fitness mirror. At over 6 feet high and a little over 2 feet wide, it looks great just as a mirror, even before turning on the 43-inch ultra high def 4K touchscreen within it. Tucked behind the mirror are the cable arms that can be swiveled out, adjusted up and down, as well as outward and inward to be used alongside a variety of included accessories to perform movements with loading as much as 200 pounds. The accessories are also cleverly stored behind the mirror towards the top in a storage container that can be slid in either direction for easy access. And the accessories included here are 2 handles, a rope grip, a short bar, and 2 ankle straps, as well as a yoga mat, heart rate monitor, and microfiber cleaning towel. Now, one of the nice things about Form is that you don't have to start with the Form Lift, but can start with the more simple Form Studio, which doesn't have the weightlifting capability, as that can be added at any point later on. I actually did a full review of the Form Studio, which I'll link to in the video description below, so feel free to check that out, as it will focus more on Form's capabilities outside of the Form Lift edition, whereas we'll be more focused on that within this review. So the way the Form Lift works is that you can either choose to follow along to a class or enter free lift mode if you'd like to do your own thing. When starting a class or free lift, you can choose which music you like by signing into either Spotify, YouTube Music, Apple Music, SoundCloud, or iHeartRadio. Then the 2 lift arms can be rotated and locked into place in front, which you'll need to do one by one. The arms can also be adjusted to angle up or down and rotated outward or inward, which helps allow for a pretty good variety of movements. But unfortunately, the arms themselves are locked into one place and so cannot themselves move vertically, which, as I'll discuss in a bit, does limit some movement possibilities. Once locked into place, you can connect the attachment of your choice and then adjust the weight on the touchscreen. The weight for each arm can be adjusted up to 100 pounds for a combined total of 200 pounds. Now, the weight feels good and it's very smooth to use, and like all digital loading, since there is no momentum, 200 pounds here will feel a quite bit heavier than 200 pounds of traditional free weights like dumbbells or barbells. Now, the attachments included are the 2 handles, a rope grip, a short bar, and 2 ankle straps, all of which feel and look very well made. The attachments can easily be popped on and off the arms, and alongside the storage cabinet makes for a very easy to use system that takes up pretty much no space whatsoever. That said, unlike most digital weight machines, there is noticeably no included barbell or bench attachment, and this unfortunately limits the Form Lift even further than it needs to be, especially for those who are looking at it as a possible replacement of a more traditional strength setup. So while there is a lot that you can do with the Form Lift, the limitations here can add up. So on top of being limited to 200 pounds, which again may be enough for many, but it is a limitation for some, further emphasized by the lack of a barbell and a bench. Then, as I mentioned, while the arms can be angled up and down, the arms themselves are locked into one place, and so this creates further limitations on several movements. Going further, unlike most other digital weight machines, there at least currently are no additional lifting modes to manipulate the weights via eccentrics or chain mechanics. All it currently has is a traditional weightlifting mode that keeps the weight constant throughout the entire range of motion, which, while fine, it does feel like it's missing out a bit on what can make a digital weight machine like this really stand out versus traditional free weights. And on top of that, since there are no smart handles, the only way to turn the weight on or off is via the touchscreen display. So if you wanted to squat with say the handles, you'll first need to curl that weight up to your shoulders or squat underneath the handles before you begin. Now on the form lift, there are a good number of classes which cover a wide variety of modalities from traditional weightlifting workouts to HIIT, and boxing, yoga, and meditation and more. And the classes are all streamed in ultra high def 4K depending on your internet connection, of course. And honestly, the classes look great and the instruction is very good. The form lift has a few programs set up for it as well if you want to follow along, though there are only a few here currently, though it will be the case that more continue to be added. In addition to trainer-led classes, there are also just workouts you can choose from with the lift, so you can follow along to a pre-built program at your own pace. And personally, I really like the way they included this as an option. Some days I might be feeling up for a coach, and others I just want to kind of do things at my own pace, so it's nice that you can choose between the two. Now, during the classes, you'll be instructed on how to set up the lift to the right angles, and the weight will sort of give you a rough estimate of where to start if you do the strength assessments beforehand. There's also a free lift mode, which you can select and just do your own workouts with. Unfortunately, there's no movement selection or anything here, so the form lift won't track your previous efforts on any given movement in this mode. There's also no way to build a custom workout, though I hear that is something that is currently in the works. The membership itself currently is $49 per month, which is cheaper than some like Tonal, though more than some of the others. And as far as I understand, you do need to have an active membership in order to use any feature on the form lift, which I'm not a huge fan of, especially given the cost of the machine by itself. The real value, in my opinion, of the form lift is through its unique ability to provide top-notch personal training. Embedded in the mirror are two 12 megapixel cameras, which come with magnetic covers that can be used to enhance Form's personal training service. Now, I actually went through 4 weeks of Form's personal training, and I can confidently say that the coach, at least the one that I had, was exceptional. He was able to see everything that I did with the two camera angles and gave me a lot of useful feedback, movement progression, created workouts for me to do by myself between sessions. And it was, as somebody who has owned and run gyms for over a decade, I have to say that this was a better experience than you would get from most in-person personal trainers, just because the expertise level here is so much higher. And with the lift added, the personal trainers on Form can see and adjust your weights and teach you how to lift properly and just provide what I think is one of the best possible personalized connected fitness experiences available. And so if this is the sort of experience that you're looking for, I think that is really where Form shines above most other options out there. So look, on one hand, the Form Lift feels and looks like this unbelievably high-end machine that can deliver some of the best at-home personal training services possible. On the other hand, it can feel extremely limited by the lack of a barbell, some limitations around movement options, not a lot of smart features or tracking. So you sort of have to figure out exactly what you want. And if you're someone who lifts a lot of weights and are looking for a home fitness option to replace your gym in a sleek, compact mirror, well, you're probably not going to be happy with this. But if you're someone who wishes they could get personal training at home, and you're somebody who wants to build some strength and muscle tone, but could care less about some of the limitations that I mentioned before, then this is honestly a great option for you. Now, of course, these are not being built just for homes, but are also available commercially for places like hotels. And I think that is also where the Form Lift can really shine, as again, the thing just looks great, is super nice and easy to use, and can provide a lot, especially for how little space it takes up. But let me know what you think in the comments below. As always, this is Colin Jenkins with Connect the Watts. Appreciate you being here, and I'll see you next time.